Hey guys, I'm Jeremy Kessler.
Why the fuck is my cherry at the bottom?
It probably fell.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey guys, my name is Jeremy.
I won't interrupt you again, I promise.
Well, okay. Hey guys, my name is Jeremy Kessler. We're about to see Captain Marvel, and Oliver's cherry is all the way at the bottom.
I'm Oliver the Ricketts.
I'm Brittany
We have...
with ice cream.
Yep. This is a movie that I think a lot of people are excited for, but
A lot of people are really not excited
Right.
for it as well.
getting a lot of backlash. First of all, for anybody who's complaining about Rotten Tomatoes not letting you review the movie before it comes out, you're an idiot.
Grow up.
Why would you be able to review a movie before it fucking comes out?
Why do you want to review a movie before it comes
Right.
out?
It's about time that they made this policy.
Right. You'll still get to review bomb it if after it comes out. And I don't understand. If that's what
Right.
you want to do,
If it's
I don't.
bad-
I don't agree with you if that's what you want to do, but you still
Unless
get
the
to do
movie
it.
really is bad and you feel that way.
I am going to go out on a limb and say that I am not a fan of Brie Larson's. Not because of the controversies surrounding her now.
Right.
I just don't think that she's a great actor.
I like her.
And for that reason, I'm out.
I was not sold by her in the trailer, but I could be wrong. I also generally like superhero movies, and I'm always excited to see a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And all this movie really has to do is be a good Marvel film. You know, nobody complains because Ant-Man and the Wasp is not as good as Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
That's an unrealistic expectation, and I don't want it to be the best movie ever.
And this
because
movie is not going to be Infinity War. We know this
Right.
already.
This is just to tide me over until Avengers Endgame.
I think that the movie, I don't, because I see a lot of people giving this movie hate, and I don't understand. I think it just looks like an average superhero movie.
Fun comic
I
book
don't-
movie.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. It doesn't look stellar and it's going to be the next
It
great thing.
This could be the best movie ever. We don't know.
That's
and
true.
Marvel,
They have a good enough track record that why don't you just... There's nothing inherently bad about the trailer. I don't understand why you're not trusting
and
it.
they have a good track record with movies. I actually think Marvel has a really bad track record with trailers. Because there's... Infinity War had a great trailer, right? The original Iron Man had a really good trailer. And Guardians of the Galaxy 1 had good trailers. I can't think of another Marvel trailer that I really like. They're either forgettable or I thought the Guardians 2 trailers were downright bad. I can't tell if I'm going to like this or not. But the logo, this is going to sound like I'm biased, but the logo makes me think I'm going to like it. The fact that it's superheroes is going to factor into this bigger thing that I'm already into makes me think I'll like it. And then for anybody saying oh, well, Wonder Woman did it better, it's they don't
Wonder
have
Woman
to
did what
be
better?
the same movie.
Yeah.
You don't say Ant-Man and Black Panther, Black Panther did better than Ant-Man just because they both have dicks, It's
Right. It's not even remotely the same movie.
right.
No.
And that's equally as offensive as saying that women can't be superheroes, It doesn't,
Saying that all women superheroes have to be better than the last woman superhero.
right,
Or that they all have to do the same thing.
right. And if you came out and said Guardians of the Galaxy did it better because that was a space period piece, then I would get it.
All right, let's get the fudge in there. Go see this movie,
See you...
and we'll smile about it.
See you on the flip side.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. I'm in the dark back here.
We just got out of seeing Captain Marvel.
You probably knew that already.
And I want to start by saying I feel like we've been very fair to this movie before anything else. Because I feel like it's going to be one of those movies where it's either you have to love it or you have to hate it. And I don't think that I fall in either category. I have very nice things to say and very bad things to say. This is a middle of the ground leaning towards positive movie for me. I like
Middle of the ground.
middle of the ground, middle
Right
of the space. I think there's a lot that works with this movie, but there are a couple of standout issues that don't. Well, there's one that makes it a piece of it pretty bad, but for the most part, there's not a lot of issues that make the movie bad. There's just a couple things that we could tweak and have a better movie.
Okay.
But I think that could be said about a fair amount of Marvel movies.
Sure. What did you guys think?
Overall, I actually think that I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, there were a couple parts here and there where I was like, oh, that's kind of dumb.
Right.
And like, oh, like this is a stupid way to do this. Here and there I did feel that way, but I mean, like, honestly, I think I was more captivated by it than I was like when I watched Ant-Man. At least this one I kind of wanted to see what was going to happen. To be fair, I wanted there to be more ties to Endgame, but I knew that there weren't going to be, because obviously we're not in a current timeline, we're in a flashback, I guess you could say, movie. Other than that, I think that the movie was pretty good. I didn't mind Brie Larson as I thought that I would. There are times with her where you're just kind of like, all right, we get it. You're tough or whatever. And some of the other people's acting was just terrible for such a high budget movie. You'd think that you'd get better actors. Samuel L. Jackson was cool. I liked, I liked their interaction. I thought that they had a good repartee.
I thought he was the best part of the whole movie. I'll say that right now.
And I liked a lot of like her abilities. I thought that that was cool. She was basically just like a human bullet, essentially, and
yeah,
I liked that. Other than that, I feel like I could see a lot of the like things that were like twists. I feel like I saw a lot of them coming. Well, but then there was like one big twist in the movie that I actually enjoyed and thought that it improved the story.
No, I thought it was a good movie. I liked it.
Okay.
All right, the end. Let's go home.
I'm gonna start with negative because I have more positive things to say than I do negative things. I gotta say, let's start with the big obvious one. Is Brie Larson good in this movie? I think she is, but I don't agree with the choice of it's the direction more than it's the acting. Because they make a point to tell you in the very first scene of this movie, a big thing with this character is that she doesn't feel emotion. She's not supposed to. And you combine that with her not having any memories, and you get what people were complaining about in the trailer, that there wouldn't be a lot of emotion here, and there wouldn't be, somebody really in touch with what they were feeling or showing that on their face.
Right.
So it makes sense as an actress to play the character that way.
Yeah.
It just is very frustrating when you're in the audience, when you need to connect to this character to be engaged in the movie, and she's not the kind of character that's going to do that. It is difficult. So when you get characters like Sam Jackson coming in, when Jude Law's coming in, they're all overshadowing her, and it's not really fair because she's doing her job. It's just that the character is subdued.
I don't know. I guess the explanation that the movie gave me, I don't know. It didn't bother me the way it bothers you, I guess.
I can't level with just like straight face the whole time. I had a hard time with it. And that was why when Sam Jackson came in and they were able to be witty together and like talk to each other, I wish she could have been like that the whole time. My other big negative is the friend and the daughter, because I did not think either of them were very good. In fact, I had been enjoying the movie up until there's a point where we go to a friend of Captain Marvel's house, and we're there for a very long time, or maybe
whole, like third act leading up to the end of the movie. Is this spot.
And a movie that I have been enjoying comes to this full stop with these actresses that I think are just bad. So much so that I actually turned around in the theater and said, I don't think I like this movie anymore. And luckily it picks up after that. I just think it got stuck on probably the worst part of the movie.
I just feel like, honestly, to be in the Marvel Universe, to be like this really big anticipated movie, you get more seasoned actors to play a main role in your movie.
Right.
In my opinion. Like, I get Brie Larson's your headliner and Sam Jackson. You have the both of them.
Right.
Then you have Jude Law. Then you have Ben Mendelsohn. Like, these are all, like, pretty big name actors. So I get that you're not going to, like, try to throw too many people in there, but that girl was basically a no-name. And you can tell that she just was not in the same league as the other actors in this movie.
Right. And this isn't just any movie. I think
I agree. That's what
you
I'm
do
saying.
throw more people in there. You throw as many as you can because everybody wants to work with them.
Right.
You can get all these people, unless you find a no-name that is, like, insanely talented and hasn't worked before and it's a discovery call, that's different.
I think that at the end of the day, I should have like a lot more suspension of disbelief for people's acting than you guys do, because I like never ever get bothered by that, and you guys talk about it a lot. Maybe I just don't understand what acting is.
Well, did they feel real to you, or did they like?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what? Maybe that's because you don't understand like people.
That could be it. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. I'm not good at people, so you know. Why is it?
I like that it's the. If
Why
you
aren't all
yeah,
these-
sure.
It's like, why aren't all these people real? I don't know. You're telling me they are, so they are. I'm easy to please.
And here you are in the front seat.
Yeah.
Musical cues,
Mm.
and
Yes, I
period,
had an issue
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
as well.
and period references.
Yep, I told you that as well.
Not subtle in the slightest. And I'll hold that up to Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy does both of those things very well. And when they bring out a piece that's like from the 80s or from the 70s, it doesn't stop the movie. They don't sit there and go, huh?
Why
Huh?
do we have all this kid stuff? Like this Fonzie lunchbox.
It's
and
a very
these pinball
sophisticated
machines.
it's a very sophisticated technology. A beeper.
It's a,
Yeah.
It's a beeper.
two-way pager.
Oh, it's a fuck me, I guess.
Yeah. Were you even paying attention?
And I can see how on paper these things seem like, yeah, this will be a good reference, but it doesn't play that way because people in that period wouldn't have pointed these things out. The musical cues, though, I was hoping for like something more along the lines of Guardians, where it was not major hits, but like still hits, you know,
It
but
was
not
literally
songs
like
you would
if
think
put
of.
on- if you put on hits of the 90s, you
This is
would've-
it.
Every single song on there would have come out.
Right. It's less
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, and it made me think more of Suicide Squad. Okay, you paid a lot of money for this soundtrack, and I get it, but the songs aren't mixed in very well.
No, it's not thought out. It's just more for you to go, this song.
It felt like somebody came in and said, yeah, that's 90s, put that in there.
Right.
Yeah. Nostalgia, add that in there. It just felt very intentional and very like on purpose, a lot of the 90s memorabilia and things and music. I mean, at the end they go into her brain again, they're trying to break her down, and you could hear
Yeah, as soon as
And I heard
Nirvana
it
started
right
playing,
away,
I had to roll my eyes.
yeah, I was like, come on. And it's like, come as you are, like,
the
in
most
her
obvious
head, like, it
Nirvana
just
song.
it just, like, didn't make sense, like, that would be
Right.
playing, like, at that time. Not to mention, like,
And I love Nirvana.
no offense to Captain Marvel, but they literally had her in a band t-shirt every single, did it need to
Nine
be,
Inch
did you need to be
Nails.
hit over the head with the fact that she liked 90s music?
Right.
Because if you did, then I don't think you should watch movies because they're too smart for you.
Well, the implication of a lot of these is that, like, people in the 90s walked around and went, hey, look at this, we're living in the 90s. You have to point out all the music that we're listening to is 90s music. We have to point out all the things that we're doing are 90s things. And that, I feel so strange.
But because it's not natural.
Right.
It's not organic.
And, you know, this is where having somebody like James Gunn in your writer's room really helps. Because this is Cosmic Marvel. This is us going into the wider universe. Right. And that was supposed to be what James Gunn was going to do. And, you know, you don't want to work with him, fine, but you have to find somebody that's going to bring the same thing to the table.
Yeah.
This very much felt like Disney does the 90s.
Positives. Lot of cool little Easter eggs in here about the Marvel Universe. You know, which just is a fan
yeah.
I like. The Stan Lee cameo, although
That
they
was a good one.
stopped the movie to do it,
I think
Which
It's worth it.
I
It's
never
worth it.
like, but this was fine. I
and
guess.
it's a reference both to Stan Lee and something else that I like, you know, and one of the only 90s references that works in this movie, I think.
I mean, just speaking of Stan Lee, it has it does a logo thing at the beginning where
Yeah,
instead of all
that
the
was
superheroes,
nice.
it's just a bunch of Stan Lees. I really liked that.
I like that a lot too.
That doesn't give the movie any points because it's not really the movie, but that was nice.
And I'll say the other characters in this movie are great. We've said it now a couple times, but when Sam Jackson comes into this movie, the movie takes off, and they have such a good back and forth with each other, and it's just cool to see Nick Fury do, something.
Yeah.
I like that, and it was cool to see Clark Gregg. Everybody, I think, kind of did what their part was supposed to be, including Brie Larson, but everybody else has had a cooler part.
See, the thing is, I think that Captain Marvel is cool. I just think that,
the writing here...
Yeah, it was lacking at times.
Right, well, when she got to be Captain Marvel, it was cool. It was very cool,
It was very cool. Rate it first, why don't you?
I'm going to give this movie a B. I thought there are improvements that could be made, but it was a good movie, and I had a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of original action sequences. There's a lot of really, really cool science fiction-y things in this movie, and overall, it's a fun ride that stays on a smaller scale, and I appreciate that.
I was also gonna give it a B. No, I mean, I guess I really just agree with what you said. It's enjoyable, it's fun. I was gonna say it doesn't have any major emotional beats that would elevate it.
Right. It's a movie.
But yeah, it's a movie. It's fun. It's a good time.
I'm also gonna give it a B. I feel like I enjoyed it more than I thought that I would, and I enjoyed it more than some of the other Marvel movies in their cinematic universe. I didn't mind Brie Larson, which I thought I wasn't going to like her. There were just some things, like you're saying, that could have been tweaked, better acting, different placement of their songs, and just different songs altogether. That would have been really elevated this movie to something that I really, really would have enjoyed, as opposed to something that I just kind of liked. I think that's fair.
Hey, we all gave it the same grade. I don't think that ever happened before.
Look at that. Okay, so spoilers. The big twist. So there's a really predictable one, and then there's one that I thought, especially as somebody who has a knowledge of the comics and how the story usually goes, came out of left field and was actually a very welcome surprise. So we'll talk about the more obvious one first. Brittany called it during the movie.
Hey, during the first 10 minutes of the movie.
You
5 minutes of the movie.
What are we talking? Are we talking about?
Now, it's a character who turns into a bad guy.
In the film, Jude Law is meant to be Veers, which is Carol Danvers' Kree personality. He's meant to be kind of like her mentor, her trainer, somebody that she works out with, the person that's supposed to be helping her become this ultimate Kree warrior. Where in the beginning of the movie, they go to another planet to try to do some sort of rescue mission that ends up going awry. And as it's all happening, I turn to Oliver and I go, he's the bad guy, right? This reoccurring scene that she keeps feeling as a memory of hers had been altered by the Kree to be something against the Skrull, when really it was Jude Law who was the bad guy, quote unquote, in her memory. And he ends up coming out in the end and, figuring out that she now knows that he's the bad guy.
Narratively, it works. It just doesn't work as a surprise. You know what I mean?
Right.
It comes together, and actually it helps with the thing that I actually was kind of taken aback by, because you find out that the Kree are, up to no good.
Not even that they're up to no good, but they're more of a tyrannical...
Right.
Like
society.
System. The Skrull, who have been known as terrorists up until the point of the twist, are not actually terrorists. They're just people who didn't want to bend, to what the Kree wanted, and the Kree didn't like that, so they decided to eliminate them as a species.
First of all, this movie is marketed like the Skrulls are the bad guys.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And there are a lot of comics where the Skrull are the bad guys, so you're not expecting, I'm expecting as I'm sitting there, everybody's going to be the bad guy now. And I thought it was actually really cool that they made one of the Skrulls one of the heroes of the movie.
I agree.
I don't know. I was kind of bored.
Really?
When he's sitting there giving the explanation of we're not the bad guys, they're the bad guys, I was like, well, okay.
Oh yeah, no, I thought that could have been pulled. The scene where they tell you,
right?
I thought could have been pulled off better. That was when I was bored in the movie, was that middle section there where they're in the house.
Right.
But
I guess the introduction to the concept left a bad taste in my mouth because
Right.
it's like whatever. I didn't mind the idea when the conflict comes to a head, but I was still like, I guess the Skrulls aren't bad guys, all right.
But I think that it's just a cool concept, and it allowed for a really cool third act of the movie.
And
Right.
I think it also was cool because even though she ends up trusting him, and like then we see in her memories that they were altered and all this stuff, like you're still kind of apprehensive. You're still kind of like, I don't know, you know,
Right.
this could still not, you know, be what they're saying it is, but it ends up being that way. So it's like kind of nice that you get turned and your trust gets turned and you end up being right as opposed to just being duped again.
Right. When Captain Marvel becomes a fucking supernova at the end of this fucking movie, holy shit.
That was just really cool.
I've been reading comic books about that since I was 8 years old. And it looks like it jumped right off the fucking page. This is not a concept that I ever thought would be on a big screen or like accessible to people, you know. I thought it would just be like, that's a trippy drawing that I saw one time.
I never read the comics, but I also thought it was really cool.
Agreed.
I like, in theory, you never get like a full explanation of exactly what her powers are. Other than that, I guess she just kind of like shoots off energy. I guess that's it. I don't know. Well, what I was originally going to say is that like that kind of thing usually bothers me, where it's like we haven't established rules and now we could just do things.
Right.
But it was really cool. So
yeah,
whatever,
it was
not a big
fucking
deal.
awesome.
It ended up being really badass, and the stuff that we saw her do didn't feel that far off from what she was doing to begin
Right.
with. So
And this movie has so much exposition. I thought it was nice that we didn't I mean, I know what her powers are, so I can't really, you know.
Right.
But
well, I'm just,
I
like,
thought it was nice that we didn't have to stop and explain what they were.
I wasn't bothered by it here, but usually that is a thing that is annoying, where it's like I haven't been told what she can do, so now she's just kind of doing things.
Right.
I mean,
But it didn't
yeah.
bother me in this case.
And then the little Marvel references, some of them are kind of dumb and some of them work. I don't think we needed to see Nick Fury lose his eye to a cat, but
I'm sorry. Do not disrespect the Flurkin like that.
he was probably one of the best parts of the movie.
It had 4
Okay.
actors.
Yes.
The most complex role.
I really liked the Tesseract.
Yeah, that was cool. And
Seeing that show, I wasn't expecting that to show up.
right, Infinity Stone to show up now,
Yeah, and
post Infinity War.
The
Yeah.
second it did, I was immediately like more engaged. I was like, oh.
Oh, Marvel. My last big positive, I gotta say it. This has one of the most creative fight chase scenes I've seen in any Marvel movie. They go to this big bunker, and all the light, and it's like aisles, like a library,
Oh yeah.
and all of the lights are motion censored. So when you walk into an aisle, it turns on the light above you, and they have to run away from the SHIELD agents, which is such a good idea.
Man, I thought they were just turning the lights on as they went. Oh, I'm just a fucking idiot, huh? Oh, that makes it cooler and make much more sense.
Jesus, Jeremy.
That is such a great idea for in any movie, not just a superhero movie or like a spy drama, but like just a chase where you can't hide because the light's gonna turn on wherever you go. That's amazing. That's a great idea for a scene, and it was a very fucking cool scene.
What a cool idea! I wish I appreciated it while it was happening.
I'm not talking about this. Do you guys have more to say?
Talk about the Endgame after credit.
Ah, man.
Oh,
Nothing happens really that we didn't know, and I'm afraid that it's going to be a scene from the movie. However, it doesn't matter what they show me. I'm so hyped, and you show me anything, and I'm, oh my god, it's fucking amazing. This is going to be the best fucking
It's not
movie of
gonna
all
touch
time.
me.
Holy shit.
Fucking
All right, we gotta go.
yeah. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.